I took his heart in my hand and I massaged it to see if we could restore some effort, some cardiac function, but it was too late. I said something like, "We've been working very hard. We tried, but in spite of all of our efforts, your husband did not live."
I mean, it affected me, not the fact that I held his heart in my hands or operating, but the fact that he died.
After 30 minutes of trying to save his life, doctors pronounced John Lennon dead.
After approximately 20 minutes of continual resuscitation efforts, John Lennon remains unresponsive and is pronounced dead at 11:20 p.m. on December 8th.
Horan and the ER team worked on Lennon for about 45 minutes, but the 4 gunshot wounds Lennon received caused a massive loss of blood, and he was pronounced dead.
And at about 11:15 that evening, John Lennon was pronounced dead.
As John Lennon walks through the dark archway,
Mr. Lennon.
the doorman hears 5 shots. He then sees Lennon stumble up the stairs and fall face down into the...
And they went inside the gate then, and then all of a sudden they heard 5, 6 shots, and that was it.
The most famous, perhaps, of all of the Beatles, shot twice in the back.
Beautiful shot by Kavanaugh.
Just before 11 that night, outside the Dakota, his apartment building in New York, Lennon was shot 4 times by an obsessed fan named Mark David Chapman.
John Lennon was shot 3 times.
He kicked the gun away, and another employee secured it at the Dakota until it was given over to the police.
There's no shells ejected. They remain in the gun. We had witnesses.
4 cops pulled John Lennon out and put him into the back of a police car, and his mouth, he was bleeding from his mouth, and it was a terrible sight.
He was actually carried into the emergency department by 2 police officers. We had no idea who he was. We knew.
Just before 11 p.m., Spiro heads uptown with the suspect. At the same time, a second squad car carrying Lennon arrives at Roosevelt Hospital, having taken just over 5 minutes to travel 15 city blocks.
Mr. Chapman came up behind him and called to him, "Mr. Lennon," as he arrived at that doorway. And then in a combat stance, he emptied the Charter Arms .38 caliber gun that he had with him and shot John Lennon.
Oh, my dear one. It was originally Paul. There's another one as he called me up and said, so we just quite a bit, so I just wrote dreams that I had and tried to recreate that. The one bit, the only bit I like that I contributed There's a dream sequence where they're eating, and there's a very fat lady in this English or Scottish really not like the cooking. They're fat guy. And he's saying,
did the reaction surprise you?
yeah, but they were gunning for us before. Because they expected the real people to be moving, they weren't to do a trick. I'm saying, that's always saying farewell from right to the planet. It just came to my consciousness. Am I saying goodbye to everything? Is this the rock and roll? Is this the like with the picture from Hamburg? Is this it? Just flashed in my mind for a split second, but I didn't consciously think it.
Was that on the record?
Yeah. That was the last track of music. As I say, we say farewell. I was out living like I do on many records. By the time I get to the end of the track, I thought there's all kinds of
So right when you said it, you were aware of what you were saying. The reason for what you were saying.
I wasn't. I was hearing that somebody else was saying it, and I was thinking, is he saying? Is that what he's saying? But he's got it. So it was like a dream that you think, oh no, and then it's gone. You see, it doesn't occur to me again. Until something happens, is this deja vu? Oh. So when I did it, then I started remembering that, thinking, Jesus, it's like the Mind Games cover. Was that what it was? Is that what it was saying? Was it premonition of my own self?
I mean, you're really lucky. If it was the weekend with all the shootings and stuff that go on, you could be in the ER for hours before anybody sees you, but it's a quiet night tonight.
At the hospital that night, Alan Weiss described what happened next.
There was a scream, a woman's voice. I was told, I did not see who was screaming, I was told it was Yoko Ono. So I hear sobbing behind me, and I'm able to look behind me, and I can see this woman is being brought in by a police officer. I asked the police officer, who is that? And he said it was Yoko Ono. Oh no, no, oh no, oh no.
She said, no, it's not possible. You're lying. He can't be dead. He was just alive. I saw him.
This guy murdered him. He shot him in the back, which is what people don't realize. He shot him in the back. He's a coward.
It was just before 11 p.m. on Monday night, December 8, 1980, when John Lennon was shot dead outside his New York apartment. A lone gunman, Mark David Chapman, fired 4 bullets into Lennon, 3 in his chest and 1 in his arm.
Police officer ran up to the doctor and said, we have a gunshot hit in the chest. Doctor said, when's it coming in? It's in the door right now. At that moment, the door slammed open. Stretcher came wheeling in. Police officers, 6 to 8 police officers trotting alongside.
He was actually carried into the emergency department by 2 police officers.
I don't walk through strawberry fields that frequently, but I walk through strawberry fields and I have the same sense. I have a connection.
He emptied the Charter Arms .38 caliber gun that he had with him.
Symbolized hope, a new life, a new beginning.
It'll be just like starting over.
He said that after all we went through together, I had and still have great respect for him. Mick Jagger, speaking from Paris, claimed that he was shattered by the news.
If any kind of regret, the only thing I can hold against Yoko was the fact that she didn't let anybody, she didn't let any of his people that worked with John see him. That she had him cremated the following day. There was no wake. We never got to see him. We don't know what happened. We don't know where the ashes are. Not that, I'm not going to go to, to his urn and kneel in front of it, but just to say, goodbye to a dear friend.
Know that happiness is a warm gun, Mama.
He's not dead. They're just saying that.